Hey everyone, I'm John and I'm an online transformation coach, and this is going to be a very raw and honest video, such as a lot of my content. And I always get mixed opinions on this, especially from people that care about me, like my wife and my parents. They're like, oh, you shouldn't put things out there that are so personal. But I believe that our pain and our struggles and the trials and tribulations of life, the hard times that we go through, are what qualify us to help other people. And I certainly wouldn't be in a position like I am today to be able to help people with their mind and their body if I hadn't have been through what I've been through. And life is tough. It's tough for everybody, I think, in one way or another. But last year was particularly tough for me, and I want to talk about that. I haven't got scheduled this. It's gone 5 o'clock now. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. Couldn't sleep, so I decided to do a little bit of coaching before work, and then I've been to work. I've just dropped my little girl at dancing, had a quick haircut. We'll pick her up from dancing, grab my wife some dinner, go back, pick my son up, take him to basketball. And that kind of sums up where this battle has been going on in my life. I personally thrive on being busy. I find boredom quite painful, and I struggle to sit still. Called it ADHD. I was diagnosed at 8, re-diagnosed at 14 to get medicated so I didn't get kicked out of school, and I was re-diagnosed again in my early 30s after struggling through my 20s with various different things, which I'll probably say for another video. But in the sort of middle of this transformation coach journey, with having multiple clients and really thinking about how I can scale my business to be able to help as many people as possible, life started kicking me in the arse. And I do find that it happens a lot. I've seen it a lot. I've heard the stories a lot. When you make a declaration to yourself or to the universe or whatever, that you want to better yourself and you want to achieve more in life, the challenges will start coming because you need to prove that you're worthy. And if you want more money, expect to be tested to the point where you get so sick and tired of struggling that you will find the strength to do what needs to be done to make more money or to become that type of person. And the same thing with your body as well. If you've been struggling with your weight for many years, even decades, you need to reach the point where you are so absolutely done with how you feel that you simply cannot carry on. Then you will make a declaration to yourself: I am going to get in shape. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to join a coach. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Then the challenges are going to start coming. Things will just start happening in your life to make things 10 times as hard for you. And it's just the way that it is. It's just the way that life works. And you're going to get injuries. Something's going to go wrong somewhere in your life. It just typically happens that way. And it's not only me. It happens to pretty much everybody. People that are really, really deadly serious about making commitment to creating a better future for themselves, at that point, it's because they are beat and broken by life, whether it's mentally or physically or a combination of both. So you decide to do something about it, and then it gets harder. And last year was a real test for me. Now, in spirituality, it kind of coincides a bit with this whole year of the snake, and it's all about shedding and letting go of the past so you can make way for your future. I kind of went through that sort of textbook, and because of what I went through, I actually discovered spirituality. And I'm not embarrassed or afraid to say that I found God last year, and I found a lot of strength in that. And they do say that when you reach essentially rock bottom, that's where you find God, because I needed something beyond myself and stronger than myself to be able to get me through, because I couldn't do it on my own anymore. And that's just the way that my path led me. So again, this isn't scripted. I'm just waiting for my little girl to finish dancing. Alcohol started to get a grip of me. Now, any of my clients will know, and I speak about this a lot, I believe that alcohol is terrible. I call it the devil's sauce or the devil's liquor, or whatever you want to call it. Some people say that alcohol is called spirits because it affects your spirit. Essentially, your spirit is affected, and I understand, and I believe that. I feel it. I'm not very good at explaining it, but I do believe that we are spirits encapsulated within this human form, and our spirit gets affected by certain things, and I think alcohol is definitely one of those things, without a shadow of a doubt, for me. If you look at the statistics, infidelity and aggression and violence and all of these bad things, they are statistically a hell of a lot more likely to happen when you drink alcohol. It affects you mentally, it affects you spiritually, and it affects you physically in so many different ways. It is bad, and I know that. And I also have personal reasons to hate alcohol, because it's been a bit of a thing in my family. Alcoholism and addiction on both sides of my family, and I have a personal hate for the stuff. But despite that, because of the struggles and stuff that I was going through, I started turning to alcohol as a bit of an escapism, and that made me feel worse. So I would drink, and that would make me feel worse, and so I would drink. So I started eating shit, which made me feel worse. So I ate more shit. And because I was drinking and because I was eating shit, I started skipping the gym. And because I was skipping the gym, I felt even worse. And it was a self-fulfilling, what I call in my coaching is the negative spiral. Every discipline affects every other discipline. And when the cracks started to show and I started acting on short-term gratification rather than the long-term approach, the disciplined life, the way that I design my disciplined life has kept me in good shape for the last, over 15 years since I started going to the gym. I've been through all sorts of stuff. I went from essentially being homeless, living on a sofa bed in my dad's caravan for a while, not having a penny to my name or anything, to eventually meeting my wife and having my son, and we got our first flat, then we got a 2-bedroom house, then we had my daughter. We've just bought our first house. Like, during this time, I've gone from not having a job to having a job that I wasn't particularly happy with, fighting all of that, getting a better job, and now I'm in a situation where, I have a decent career, and I'm also working as a coach and a PT as well, fulfilling my passion and my love. And I kind of see, one thing is the bread and butter, it's the mortgage, it's the bills, it's how I support my family. And the other, to be honest, I don't even really think about the income too much. It's just something that I do because I really enjoy it. I enjoy helping people, and I feel like that's kind of what I'm here to do. Which is essentially, it's why I'm making this video. Speaking from the soul, and just going with the flow. A couple of notable things which see what I'm about to explain is just one of those shit things in life, and it's not necessarily anything to do with me, and it's not necessarily my fault, and the emotions that I felt as a result of this are completely normal and okay. But I hope I don't cry. We lost one of our cats this year, and she was only a baby, and she was a little miracle. Long story short, I found a cat. It was a little missing Bengal, and it took me a little while to rescue this little thing, because I just noticed it in the neighbourhood, and I knew it weren't right. I've always had cats in my life, and I was brought up in my mum's household. She always had 2 or 3 cats, and we've always had 2 or 3 cats. And I saw this cat and I knew it weren't right. I hadn't seen it before, and it just didn't look right. So I took it in, we looked after it, we fell in love with this little cat. We couldn't find the owner, and then after a week or so the owner came forward. And while I was trying to rescue her, I noticed that there was lots of other male cats sniffing around, and we heard a few things going on late into the night. And just so happened that a few months after we gave the cat back to the owner, she gave us a little kitten, and it was like a little reward from God for taking care of this lady's cat for her. And just incredible cat like no other. And she was a huge part of our family. You know, the kids and my wife used to carry her around in her hood, and you know, they cuddled every single night on the sofa. They would just follow each other around. And then she went missing, and I found her 3 or 4 days later. I won't go into any specifics, just in case my kids ever watch this video, but yeah, I found her, and that was very, very difficult to be with. It threw a spanner in the works, put it that way. Another sort of story from last year. I have been struggling with my motivation for the gym for a while, ever since my attention turned to other people rather than focusing on my own physical body. Just trying to gain half an inch of my biceps, or measuring my quads, getting pictures. I basically came into this gym thing just wanting to improve my confidence, really, as a young man, and it turned into a full-blown passion, which eventually saw me doing competitive bodybuilding and stuff in 2018, natural bodybuilding shows. So there was no drugs or steroids or anything involved, and I got into absolutely very, very good shape. I've never been in as good shape since, but I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, because where I took my body then had me feeling like utter crap, which again I'll speak about in a separate video. But once I started helping other people and I decided to become a coach, I just kind of lost interest in myself a little bit, and I was only really going to the gym just to try and maintain, which it's never really fulfilled me. I've always liked to chase goals, whether it's fat loss or whether it's building muscle, gaining strength. I've always had a very specific goal to chase towards, whether it's a 220 kilo deadlift. That actually became a 260 kilo deadlift at one point, 200 kilo squat, 140 kilo bench. I think that got to 155 at a certain point. Or a body weight goal, like I wanted to reach 100 kilograms, or 185 pounds when I was cutting down. There was always something, but then I just got lost. I just weren't interested anymore. Never looked in the mirror, never got pictures, never got measurements, and basically just stopped going. But with that, I noticed in myself I was becoming more ratty. I wasn't as patient around the kids. I wasn't being as good of a husband as I was previously, and just all other areas of my life started to be affected by the fact that I wasn't going to the gym, because it's so good for me and my mental well-being, keeping me straight, getting rid of the aggression, and just keeping me on track. And I lost that. Managed to discipline my way through it, and it was a fight. I had to drag my ass to the gym for a good 2 or 3 weeks until I was like, do you know what? I'm starting to enjoy this again. The music started sounding good in the gym. The pumps started feeling good, and I was like, yes, I'm back. And I really got right into it, sorted my nutrition out, and I was absolutely buzzing, made really quick progress because I'd regressed so much. And I got injured. Neck and shoulder, put me out for about 6 weeks, and I just completely fell off again. And it was shortly after that, actually, that our cat passed away. Been with my wife for 15 years now. We've been married for she'll kill me, 3 years, coming up to 4. And obviously, long-term relationship, we have disagreements sometimes, we have arguments like everybody else does. And there's been a bit of that going on last year. The coaching, because I was going through so much shit, I stopped posting. My social media has been dead. I've had no emails going out. I've not been trying to gain new clients, and rightfully so. Towards the end of last year, I had a few clients leave, and I didn't bother, trying to replace anyone, because I was like, I'm probably going to quit because I can't manage. Basically I was like, life's hard, life sucks. No matter how hard I try, things always go wrong. All of these horrible negative belief systems that I teach people how to undo, I was leaning on them as an excuse to keep me where I was. And I didn't want to be there, but it was just so convincing at that point that life was just so difficult that it's okay to have a drink. It's okay not to go to the gym. It's okay to have some rest. But the fact of the matter is, and this is kind of the whole point of this video, and I'm sure there was a damn sight more that went on last year, believe me, there was times last year where I didn't think I was going to make it. There were a few nights where I had very deep, disturbing conversations with my wife, essentially about not wanting to do this anymore. And I had to take 2 weeks off of work because I had nothing left. Basically, I was in a state of severe depression, and I thought I was past that, to be honest. I hadn't felt that way for many years. I was like, I don't really know why I'm feeling like this. I've got 2 beautiful children, I've got a wife, I've got a decent career, I'm not in bad shape. The coaching business is there. If I want to work on it and bring it back up and make something of it, I can, but none of that mattered. I was just in a really, really bad place. But I knew that it would pass, because from experience I've been there before, and I knew that just as sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, the storm will pass, and it passed, and I come out the other side with a glimmer. So it's dark now, there's just a little, there's a light out there. There was a little flicker of light somewhere in the dark, and I just started to try and focus on that light. And the more I focused on the light, the more it expanded, and I started to free myself from that feeling of being depressed, and until I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm ready to start trying to eat better now. I'm ready to start knocking the alcohol on the head. I'm ready to start going back to the gym. And with each one of those positive decisions, the monkey got off my back, so to speak. With every healthy meal, with every disciplined decision that I make, with every day that went past when I wasn't drinking, when I really, really, really wanted to drink, or I really wanted to lay in and skip the gym, every time I acted on discipline and I just did it, I felt better and better and better. And I am pleased to say that so far, it's the 27th of January today. So far, January has been very productive, very positive. There's still been many, many challenges. Been having a few challenges recently in a few different areas, but from what I've learned last year and everything that I went through last year, I'm managing it a lot better now. And I'm just determined not to go back to that place. And the key is this, and you're not going to like it. The key is discipline. You know what you need to do. I knew what I needed to do. I knew I needed to get back into the gym. I knew I needed to stop drinking. I knew I needed to sort myself out, and I didn't do it. And that's the message for anyone today that is stuck and you feel depressed and life is kicking your ass. The only way out is for you to start taking disciplined action and start doing the things that you know you need to do. Stop doing the things that you know that you shouldn't be doing, and take it one day at a time, and life will start getting better. And I can't suggest to you to find God. If that is something that you aren't sure on, then it may happen one day, it may not. I didn't expect it to happen, and it did. But having God to lean on now, like every time something challenging pops up, I'm like, it's okay, because I put my trust and my faith in God, and if this is how this is supposed to go, then that's fine. And it's very comforting to know that it doesn't matter what I do or what happens to me, it's happening for good reason, and it's happening to teach me something or to push me in a different direction. Like, you know, I've got a good career at the moment. If I was to lose my career tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, got mortgage to pay like tomorrow. How am I going to do this? But I would trust in God and trust that there was an opportunity coming. And with that trust, with that faith, and with that belief, the phone will ring and you will get an opportunity. But I'll leave it there. I've got to pick my daughter up. I hope I'm not late. I do enjoy making videos like this, just unscripted, speaking from the heart. And yeah, there's definitely going to be more of them. New Year's resolution, start creating content again. It's taken me 27 days to make my first video, but there we go. I hope to God that the record button was pressed. Otherwise I've just been speaking to the car park for the last 20 minutes. But anyway, please like and subscribe and share if you found it helpful, or if you know anybody that this might help. And yeah, subscribe. Keep your eyes peeled for the next one. Have a good day.